I'm back already, and I'm just gonna get straight into it. I'm building another rig, and this one is going to my brother for his birthday in a few days. So he's into scouts, so I found this model and I printed it. It's very close to a Scout 2 Harvester Scout 800. I'm gonna try to build a chassis for this. The body's kind of thin. I don't know if I'm gonna. I have another body printing. It's a different model, and it has a. I was able to make the sides of it thicker, so it's either going to be that body or this body. I kind of like the other one a little bit better, except for the front end. The front end is not as scale looking as this. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to cut out the headlights. So for this body, I actually usually throw the models in Blender and add like little details and stuff. So with this one, I added the international symbol, emblem on the front. And that's pretty much it for this one. It had everything else. And then I printed it on an X1 carbon, which does multicolor prints. So this is actually how it came out with the white roof, the silver door handles, and the red in the emblem on the front. It's a really cool printer, and this was standard layer height. I actually didn't print it at a thinner layer height to get finer detail because the print would have taken 5 days, and I don't have 5 days because I do everything late. So the other body should be done in like probably sometime tomorrow. So we're going to get started on this and see if we can get a chassis with the right wheelbase. That's something else I did in Blender or not Blender, I'm sorry, the Bamboo Studio. They have a measurement tool, so I measured from the center of this wheel well to the center of this wheel well, and I tried to match it to 133 millimeters, and then that's why this body is this size, is because I printed it for just based on that distance. I'm going to use a chassis that's for the JLU. I might use this one. I'm thinking I'll use the carbon fiber just because I have more shock mounting positions. Actually, you know what? I think I just changed my mind. I'm going to use this one. So let's get started. First thing is our skid plate. And this is one I took off another build. And I lost my screwdriver. And this one, I'm using a lot of parts that I had lying around, and I had to buy some, like the axles and ESC. So I will probably need to be digging around for hardware. Okay, so this link set was actually the front links and rear links from two different sets. So I'm going to put those together, and hopefully they're the right length we need. So I'm adding both O-rings to either side of these suspension links. I want this to be kind of as close to stock as possible so that he can upgrade whatever he wants on it. I just want it to get it together so he can check it out and figure out what he wants to upgrade. Okay, links are together. Let's get those on. I put this Y-link on upside down. It has a cutout. I believe that's for the drive shaft. So I gotta flip it around. So for this build, I bought these Injora axles, and these are plus 4 millimeters in width, so 4 millimeters I believe on each side, so a total of 8, and they come with steering links, but no servo mount. Okay, so it looks like it comes with the hardware, steering links, the hex hubs, and they're brass. Oh, oil is all over this. So I gotta take off that diff cover and check that. It's everywhere. Yeah, everything looks to be in order. It's got like white bearing grease in there. One thing I would always recommend when you get a set of axles, grab that little tab on that gear and just rotate it around a few times just to see if it's freely spinning, because a lot of times you can tell right there if something's not working correctly if it doesn't spin very well. This side looks good too. I got a set of axles one time that when I tightened the screws down on the cover, it actually would not spin after that. So I actually ended up having to Dremel away a little bit of the inside of the diff cover because it was actually like the points were too long and it was binding up the gears. I wish this magnet was strong enough to consistently pick up screws, but half the time it doesn't work. Like this case has this little slot on it and you're supposed to like put the tip in there and then it magnetizes it. It works barely. Okay, looks good. Okay, let's do the steering links. Take off these gloves. Oh. Yeah, make sure you put this on the right way. I literally put it on the bottom of the knuckles. Sometimes on certain axles, this steering link is like a little bit too long, and it kind of makes your tires point out. I think it's called the toe, your tire toe. 3Flow9 makes an adjustable steering link, so if you ever come across that issue, look up 3Flow9 and you can actually get an adjustable one of these so you can fine tune your tires if you're tired of them kind of being crooked. Okay, front axle's going on. Oh, you know what? We're going to use a stock servo mount because we're actually going to use a stock steering servo. Okay. Okay, front's on. Let's do the rear. So we're doing the rear axle now. These axles don't come with a rear truss. I have a stock rear truss that we can put on this. So that's kind of how that goes, just slips right down in there. Okay, both axles are on. Time to do the shocks. For this one, we're doing 39mm oil filled. So we gotta actually put these together still. On my last set of shocks, which were 51mm double barrel shocks, I got the springs that were on each shock, so 4 springs, plus 5 additional springs. These shocks, they come with 2 additional sets of springs. So the springs that are on here are the medium springs. It comes with silver springs, which are the stiff springs, and it comes with these black springs, which are the soft springs. I'll just keep the medium springs on here for now, and then we can switch them out to soft later on if we need to. So I'm adding an O-ring to both sides of the shock. So there's 2 O-rings on either side up here, 2 O-rings on either side down here. So that's going to prevent the shock from moving side to side as much, which doesn't offer as much articulation. But obviously, when I give this to my brother, mine has to beat his in every way. The reason I'm putting O-rings on both sides is so he can choose later on, you know, if he wants to clip one off or remove them to get a little bit more articulation. Okay, shocks are together. We'll put them on. I'm just going to add these thicker spacers to the tops of the shocks to kind of push them out from the body a little bit. Those actually look really good. I actually like the gray, the black, and the red. It looks awesome. Rear shock towers are going on. These are just stock. Rear shock towers are on, so let's attach the rear shocks. Front and back shocks are on. The links, skid plate, and axles. Oh, let's do the servo. Probably should have done that first before I put the shocks on. Alright, servo's mounted. Looks pretty good. Time to mount the motor to the transmission, and for this build I'm using this Torque Beast 50 size motor, and it's a really good motor. Mofo RC makes it, and it actually just bolts right in to the transmission. We just got to take this cover off and mesh the pinion to the spur. To mount that motor, we actually have to take out this gear because one of the bolts, you can't screw it in unless this gear is out of the way. Okay, so the motor just slips right in here. So to mount this, I need a particular type of screw, it looks like. So it looks like a 3mm. I gotta use a Dremel cutting wheel because I don't have any bolts that size. Okay, I think I got the screws down to the right size so I can use these makeshift screws that I just shortened. This motor is going to just sit right like that. It's going to be rear facing because I want this front tray. Right on, that fits perfectly. Pretty good. Our motor and transmission are together. Alright, transmission and motor are in. Let's just hook up the drive shafts. Sweet, the drive shafts are in. Now we can figure out where we're going to put the receiver and the electronic speed control. I'm using an MB100. I really like these, much better than the jerky stock stuff. This was the other option, just like one of these AE6s, the 2-in-1 things. This is only like 22 bucks. One of the nice things about this hobby is compared to 10th scale or especially 6th scale, things are super cheap. You know, for this system, so for this motor, I paid 15 bucks plus like $5 for shipping, and then $22 for this. So super good deal. We'll take this out and I'll get it on the course and run it just to make sure everything works. That's my excuse. And then we'll wrap it up and send it to my brother. Guess this is an instruction manual. The instruction manual. Oh, it's waterproof. I didn't even know that. Fully waterproof design. After immersion, promptly clean and dry the ESC. Wow, that's cool. Waterproof. I had no idea that's waterproof. I guess it pays to read these. I'll read the next paragraph the next time I build one. Well, for this one, I think I'm gonna print a battery tray and stick the battery back here. Actually, let me grab one of my batteries, because I'll probably send them with a battery, because that would be lame if I sent them a truck with no battery. It's too wide to fit in between the frame rails. Could fit ahead of them on the motor like that. It's a little high up for my liking, but I could get it to look like a factory setup that way. I could put it on its side, just like a slot. I do have this tray up here, which is, it's really a perfect place for this. We could get away with mounting it in the front like this. Oh, let's see if the body will actually, seems like it'll fit the wheelbase. Which is the front? This is the front. Ooh, it looks like it'll fit. I think maybe I could even scale the body down a tiny bit. Okay, I'm gonna mount the wheels and tires, since there's nothing else mechanically we need to do other than receiver, ESC, battery, and it's good to go. I mean, the most generic off-brand tires you can get, but they look really good, and in my experience they actually perform much better than the stock tires on the JLU and the Bronco. Anyway, look at this. These are awesome. I think these are so cool looking. I went back to actually get another set of these wheels, and they don't have them in black anymore. They only had them in like red and gray, or red and I don't know. They didn't have black though, so hopefully they get these back in stock. I'm gonna get another set of these tires and these wheels. Okay, front pins. And we're just starting out with the stock width hexes and stuff. These wheels, they have a negative offset, so they stick out a lot. So I'm not going to start out with extensions of any kind. We're just going to do it like this and see how it turns out. Boom, there it is. Oh yeah. Oil fill shocks, gotta love them. Okay, let's see how that body looks. I know I'll have some trimming to do on these fenders because they're so, like, the corners are so sharp. Looks pretty good. I think I actually might scale down the body. I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty good. So ride height has to be about there. I gotta trim right back here, right here, probably up here. Actually, let's do that right now. Lots of trimming to do, but for now we can model that front end mount. We could do body posts in the back, but instead of going through the body, we could do magnets. I wonder if I could just do Velcro back there. Velcro it to the back, Velcro to the front, and you just open it and it comes up like on the same hinge the JLU would. So, could do this. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that is perfect. Fits right up over the motor. Okay, so battery tray is good to go. Let's just drill that in. I was going to see about chopping off one of these body post things, putting Velcro on that, because I do have a bunch of Velcro, so we could just start out with that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so yeah, so far the body turned out to be a little bit too big. It's kind of a wreck right now, but I'm continuing on with my brother's build. I just picked up a controller, and I was able to get it here on time. His birthday is actually today, so I'm trying to finish this up. I wanted to bind this transmitter with this receiver before I gave it to him. This is kind of how it went together. The receiver's up here. It has a Torque Beast 50 in it. An MB100 ESC, and I had some issues with the body. So this body is a little bit too big, and I really didn't care for the way it kind of fit on there. It does fit okay, but it just looks a little bit too big. So I don't think I'm going to use this one. I found another model and I printed that one. So this is the other one. This is more like the Scout that he actually has. And I actually like this body. This body is pretty good. So this is how this one goes on. And again, I printed it a tiny bit too big. I did have to modify it, so you see kind of on the inside it has these cutouts right here. I clipped those out because it actually couldn't sit down far enough. And the filament that I use, this copper colored filament, it doesn't print very well at all. This is with an X1 carbon printing with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and it just kind of turned out not that great. So I threw this into Blender, and well, this one is actually modified. I modified this one too, so you can see the wheel wells are kind of angled right here on the front and back, and then I actually chopped off the bottom down here because this actually came down to a point at the same level as the underside here. So I cut out those with the hope that that would prevent as much rubbing as possible. I did actually go back to Blender though, and I made some more modifications to this body. I made it a little bit lighter. This one's pretty heavy. And I printed it in white. Well, I started to print it in white so he could have the option of painting it, but I ran out of filament. So I switched the color out halfway through, and it actually turned out really cool. So this is the new body that I printed, and this is using a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, so the details are much better. But you can see the point that I ran out of filament was right here, and then I switched to the copper. The reason the hood is white is because I actually printed it as a separate piece down beside it. So it actually printed this hood fully and this canopy fully before I ran out, which is pretty lucky, before I had to switch it to the copper. So when you put it together, it actually looks pretty cool. So it has this like white canopy, and then it has this like two-tone paint job. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this, and then he can paint it and weather it himself if he wants to. Today I'm gonna try to finish the mounting system. So the mounting system that I've come up with is I'm using the stock JLU hinge back here, and so this is actually a magnet, and they're very strong magnets, which is good because that body's a tiny bit heavy. So this hinge on the back, I printed a plate, and then I just drilled the 4 screws that you normally would through that plate, and then I glued some magnets. I had some cutouts in this plate, and then I have the opposite plate that's going to mount on it, and then this just snaps to it like that. And so we're going to mount this to the body. I don't know exactly how far this hood is going to set away from that the front mount. So we'll do the back first, and then we'll figure out the front. This, in my opinion, looks much better than that other one. So I think the battery is dying. This is generally how it looks on it, which I think looks pretty darn cool. I think that looks, yeah, I think that looks really cool. Okay, now I need to fit a screw that's long enough. I decided to put stiffer springs on the back because this body, there's more weight, it seems like. Right now I'm just grinding off the front a little bit more because when at full turn left and right, it rubs pretty bad right here. So let's sit right now.
That looks really cool. I think that even looks cool without the top on it.
And I used bolts on the back to screw the magnet thing onto the back.
It looks like a license plate spot.
Then he could just easily remove those. The other magnet is held on with screws. The front, the bottom is... Okay, so it is relatively easy to get the body on. You just go from the side, and then it'll snap into place.
Oh, that's good.
Taking it off is a little bit more challenging. You have to like tilt it to the side and then kind of go off that side that way. But I mean, still easier than the JLUs. All right, so the body is done. The mounting system's in place. So the way it works is it has magnets under the hood, magnets in the back, and they're very strong magnets. It's pretty strong, so to take it off, he's going to twist it to the side and then kind of come off that side, and the body will just come right off. And then to put it on, basically that back he'll just clip it into there, right, and then come over the side here, and it'll snap into place. Same spot every time, so that should be a nice and easy kind of system to get the body off and on. And then I'll figure out this top, but generally this is it. I really like the way that turned out. International Scout, so it'll be up to him whether he wants to add maybe an interior or something. I actually probably would prefer it like this rather than completely white, so I'm actually glad that I ran out of filament. I got some more on the way, so just kind of a recap. This is using the high clearance links. These are Super Whomper tires. Can't get over that name. Endura beadlock wheels. Torque Beast 50 size motor. Endura MB100 electronic speed control mounted to one of these plates. Endura drive shafts. Same wheelbase as the JLU. Custom magnet mounting system rather than the pin. But it actually can still be hinged, so if you twist it to the side, that rear is still on a, I mean, it's still a hinge, so don't have to take the body all the way off. It's still using the stock servo in the front for steering. The receiver is an SR315, 39 millimeter oil-filled shocks. Stock rear truss. The axles are Endura plus 4 millimeter. Nothing special about them other than they're a little bit wider. We're not doing, so it doesn't have brass diff covers, it doesn't have brass knuckles. I'm just kind of leaving all of the main kind of upgrades that you do. I'm just leaving those up to him so he can kind of play around with it, because that's half the fun of it, is upgrading it. So this is the first International Scout build that I've done. I think it turned out better than I expected. So this is without the top. Okay, it looks like we are at 411.3 grams. So I don't know if you can make that out, but 411.3, 411.1. So we got 50 weight in the front, 50 weight in the rear. So with the topper on it, with the canopy, we are at 431 point something grams. 48 in the front, 52 in the rear. 50. I'm moving the table so it might shift the weight a little bit. So 411 grams total weight. And then with the canopy on, 431. So it looks like the canopy weighs, what, 20 grams approximately? So on the RTI ramp, let's see if I can get it down here. So the RTI ramp, it looks like he's right about, what, 42. We'll leave the kind of the body weathering and painting and upgrades on this one to my brother. I have an extra set of wheels and an extra set of tires, so I'm going to mount these. That'll leave his tires nice and brand new. Oh, also, for anybody that wants the Scout body, I will post that to Thingiverse so you can download it. I don't usually post things like the magnet mounts because it's usually specific to my vehicle. So things like that I'm not really concerned with publishing the models for. But if you ever do want something like that, reach out and I'll add a link to them. But usually it's just like when I do it, it's specific to that specific vehicle or specific to the particular vehicle that I'm working on. So it really just works in that use case. All good. Okay, so wheels and tires have been switched. Actually, I like those white ones with it too. It looks like something you'd see on kind of an old school truck. Okay, let's get this thing out there and see what it can do. Oh man, would you look at that. First time a Scout's been on the course. Let's actually go up here first. Oh yeah. You can tell that body's a little bit heavy. That looks good though. I'll be interested to see if he paints it. I gotta go up here slow because I don't want to tip it over and break the body before I give it to him. Oh, no problem, it climbed up that easily. Okay, one-handed driving across the bridge. Don't fall off. Looks like we got some undergrowth stuck in there. For being an accidental change and running out of filament, it doesn't look too bad. Ooh, I'm hung up on that back bumper. Okay, I'm just gonna help it out of there so I don't mess up his body. And I didn't do anything at all. Yeah, I think you'll like this. It's smooth. I mean, for a brushed system, like way smoother than stock. Like way smoother. Through my new fake snow, I guess I'm just going to use the vehicles to clean it up. I mean, it sticks to the tire. I mean, it looks cool though. I mean, that climbs pretty well. 3D printed body, brushed motor, brushed DSC. Oh yeah. No problem. So there's only a little bit of rubbing. Well, that snow makes it slick on those tires. I'm trying to be extra careful. This is a very tricky part. Oh, and it makes it out. The tires are cleaning out though. Okay, I mean you see a little bit caked in there, but yeah, it just walks down there. Yeah, that's a climber. Don't even need reverse. Let's see if we can bring it up over here. Yeah. Okay, back up the snow. Let's see if we can go back up. Oh, this is the first part it struggled at. Oh. Just hugging the edge. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Oh, guess I gotta pay attention to the camera. Yeah, alright. Can it do this? Oh! Oh, a little bit too steep. Okay, I'll just kind of go over here on the edge. Yeah, no problem. No problem over there, okay. Alright, let's go back to the Highlands. Whew. yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, first International Scout, it's a 3D printed body. Ran out of filament printing it. So, building it from scratch, it turned out, and I think it's really capable. I don't really want to take it on too difficult of lines, too difficult terrain, because I don't want to break anything before my brother gets it. So, overall though, I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty capable, and I think he's probably going to have a lot of fun with it. He has a 10th scale Red Cat Gen 8 Scout, so this will be a good addition to the start of his fleet. The next video, I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't really know what the next video is going to be. It could be part 2 to the Axial Bronco. It could be the Unimog. It could be the brass build. Not really sure. I really want to do a 6x6, so we'll see. So there's a couple of things that I actually added to this, just details. So an international symbol for the front. I also modeled this bumper, and I went back and looked at some pictures of when my Jeep was towing his Scout. No big deal. And this is the bumper. This is basically the general shape of the bumper that was on the Scout. So it had these D-ring spots or shackle spots. I actually don't know what you call those. I put another little international symbol cutout in it, but it fits really well. If I didn't give this to him, I would probably continuously be adding to this over and over, and I would never get this video out. So that is going to do it for this build. I think that I've done everything to this that I really wanted to. I do have some mirrors that I printed, some side mirrors for it. I added a gas cap in silver for the back, so I just printed these separately, and I'll make all of these available for download on Thingiverse. So I'll make like this bumper available. It is stamped with the IH symbol. I do have a version without that. The body I did not model. Somebody with a lot more skill modeled that, and it's actually an instructable, so it is available to download for free. And I'll post my modified version of it, because I modified this body to work with this chassis. So the body is modified a bit to work with this build. So it has like a cutout. Here, let me take this off. So the body has these cutouts right here. It has a cutout there, a cutout up here. And that's pretty much the only thing I did, other than I angled the fender wells on the front and back, chopped off these because they looked like long fangs at first. Not really much else I did, but yeah, so you'll be able to download this body, the bumper. I probably won't do the gas cap or the mounts. So if somebody wants like things like this, I don't really post stuff like this just because it's usually specific to my build. But everything else I'll post for anybody that wants it. So that's going to do it for this build. That's how it turned out. I think it turned out really cool. First Scout I built, but probably won't be the last.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yeah.
It sound right, boy.